Well, welcome back to the show. As you can see, we've put Jason's recipe to good use. And inevitably, after a big crawfish boil, you're going to have some leftover. But before you go throwing that tail meat into an etouffee, why not try Chef Scott Varnado's tail meat appetizer?
I became a chef because everybody in my family was homeschooled chefs of their own. I just love doing it, and I've been doing it for quite a while now, for about 15, 16 years or so, in and out of different restaurants from Alabama to New Orleans to here we are in St. Francisville, Louisiana. As you well know, we're in the middle of crawfish season here in South Louisiana, and not too far down the road, Atchafalaya Basin is where we have our crawfish tonight from. We do crawfish many ways. We obviously do the crawfish boil here, and then we break it down. We have the tail meat that we're going to use for our dish tonight. In South Louisiana, there's what's called a crawfish pie or a meat pie or this, that, and the other. Normally, they're rolled up and they're deep fried, and it's a little, nice little pocket. It's a great dish. A lot of fairs and festivals have them. We're going to do an upscale version of that. We're going to do an open-faced crawfish pie for this, and we're going to put some pickled mirliton on top of it. We're going to stew it down. It's got a little cream of mushroom soup, lots of garlic, some of the boiled crawfish tails. First of all, we're going to add some butter here. Hopefully this isn't too hot. No, we're pretty good. And then we're going to, as this is cooking down a bit, we're going to cut up some onion. Traditional ingredients here. And we're going to put some onions, some bell pepper, and like I said, a lot of garlic. I'm going to toss some bay leaf in there. There's two different kind of peppers here, mainly for color. They have great taste, but you're going to want this for your color for sure. Because again, this is open face, so you're going to be able to see everything that's in it. You want to make sure everything's about the same size. If not, your vegetables will cook at different times. So you'll have some raw vegetable in there, and then you'll have some that's, that's cooked, and you don't want that. So now that we've got that into the butter, we're going to add that. We're just going to saute that up a little bit. And you can add some seasoning at this point, a little kosher salt, and maybe a little bit of this Creole seasoning. We make this in-house here. You can use, your favorite Creole seasoning recipe if you'd like. Anything will work just fine. But we're going to stew this down a little bit until the vegetables are nice and tender. And this takes a little bit of time. All right, so we've got our onions and peppers, and they're all nice and tender. We're going to add the garlic now. And as you can see, that's a good bit of garlic. But that's all right. I mean, this dish is, like most South Louisiana food, it's got plenty of garlic and nice onion flavor. And you could also, if you wanted to, you'd have to cook it a little bit longer, but add some celery to this as well, some diced carrot, and you'd have the traditional, mirepoix that's in most food here. Now, once you add the garlic, you're going to have to kind of start slowing things down a little bit. And that's where the crawfish tails are going to come in. This will stop the cooking process a little bit, because that garlic will toast and get bitter. And all this is what you want. You guys add this crawfish fat. It comes in the 1 pound packs like that, again from the Atchafalaya Basin, and they pack it with the crawfish fat in there, and that's what you want. That's the nice sweetness, and that's where most of the crawfish flavor is in the fat. After you add your crawfish tails, you're going to want to re-season this a little bit. Again, some more Creole seasoning. This is, it's up to you how hot you want it to be. You don't want to add too much salt, because in a little bit we're going to add some bases to this. And the base, it has some lobster base and some crawfish base, which is cooked, stewed down into a concentrated paste. And that really brings out some of these flavors again. And they're very naturally salty, so you want to be careful with that. Little Avery Island Tabasco sauce. Again, add as much or as little as you want. Now what I do when I get to this point, I add this crawfish tails like this. There's a lot of flavor in those shells, and as this cooks, that flavor, these were boiled first, so that flavor, that crawfish boil is going to come out in that really nicely. So you want to make sure that we kind of capture that flavor. Now we're going to need to get some kind of liquid into this, and that's where this comes in. This is a little cream of mushroom soup. It's in everybody's kitchen. A little sage right here. A little goes a long way. We're going to add our bases. This again is one of those is a ham base, so it's going to have a little smokiness to it. Could be the same thing if you added the cooked bacon or rendered down the bacon. Instead of using the butter, you could render down the bacon and saute your vegetables in that, and that would work just fine. We're going to let this cook a little bit. We can add a few bay leaves as well. And then what we have here is a little pastry shell. The way that we do it here is we get a biscuit dough, just right out. You can use canned biscuits, and you can add herbs to it when it's in its raw form. You can add herbs to it and roll that out and get all that nice flavor into that biscuit dough. Put it in a little rimmed pie mold, if you will, a little mini pie mold. Put some paper in it and add some beans, some dried beans, or some, they call it bacon weights or pie weights or something like that. You can add that, and that keeps the biscuit from doing what it's naturally supposed to do, and that's puff up, and it stays nice and crispy like this here. We're going to add this crawfish mixture to our pie shell. You want to keep the bay leaves out of there. And then what we have here, this is a little breadcrumb mix, and it's got some bacon in it for the smokiness, some Parmesan cheese, and some breadcrumbs. You can use croutons. You can add any of these things. Just put it in a blender or a food processor and mill it up like that, and it's perfect for a nice crispy topping. And then we're just going to take this and we're going to pop it in the oven, 350 degrees. And again, this shell's been baked already, and this is hot. So you just want to kind of set that topping, and that's it. So that's going to go in the oven, 350 degrees for about 5 minutes tops. So we've got a lot of varied items on the menu that I think will certainly appeal to everybody's taste buds. A lot of seafood, a lot of soft shell crabs, just really promoting South Louisiana seafood as best I can. And much like these guys that are doing the crawfish out of the Atchafalaya Basin, I mean, they're hard-working folks, and they deserve to be taken care of. And I put their food on my plates, and I'm thankful every day. And then we're going to top it off with a little pickled mirliton.
This is fantastic. You got to tell me about this mirliton.
Mirliton is grown here in South Louisiana. It's a squash. Somewhere else in other parts of the country, it's called chayote squash. Kind of looks like a pear, almost exactly like a pear. And it's got a tough skin on the outside, so you want to peel it, but it has a texture like a potato, a little heavier than a pear. It just brightens and lightens up the dish a little bit, kind of puts out the fire, as you said before. It kind of mellows it out a little bit. And that's it. South Louisiana crawfish, open-faced crawfish pie, topped off with pickled mirliton and Louisiana barbecue shrimp aioli.
Well, that's going to wrap up today's show. Remember, if you want more information about the show, or you just want to get the full recipes shown on today's show, check us out on the web at outthebayou.com. And remember, we're always looking for stories with great taste. For my family, we'll see you again next week with more great food straight out the bayou.